In an 8-1 vote last night, the Phoenix City Council voted to boost the number of beds at one of the largest homeless shelters in the valley. That means the homeless campus in downtown will get 700 new beds to shelter people in our community. Joining us live to talk about this, Lisa Glow. She's the CEO of the Central Arizona Shelter Service. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. So you guys asked for 500 beds. You got 700 beds. Tell us, how did that happen and how is this going to impact everyone?
This is a really positive thing that has happened at the city of Phoenix. The number of beds approved for permanent placement on the Human Services campus where adult shelter is 700, plus 200 more for weather relief, which is another significant win. We had also hoped that Andre House would be allowed to have 100 beds. That didn't happen last night. But what did happen is CAS will be able to add more beds. We're currently capped at 425. We can go up to 700. And by this summer, we're going to move quickly to get 600 beds and get more people off the streets. That's the big win in this. But there's a lot more need. And we're grateful to Channel 15 because you continue to tell the stories, including with our telethon last week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second, but you guys requested these beds a couple of years ago. What took so long to get to this point?
The Human Services campus was the applicant on the beds, and the reason it was 2 years is it's controversial. The neighborhood was opposed to the expansion because they've dealt with a lot of blight in the surrounding area. So they opposed the expansion. Ultimately, the businesses and neighborhood in the area agreed to a compromise. So 900 beds were approved last night. So that was the compromise that was reached. And it's difficult. Any neighborhood looking at adding shelter is wary. However, we absolutely need to continue to expand the footprint to have more facilities in other communities. So that's really what's going to be next.
So, I mean, the need obviously out there is great. How is this going to help these folks get back on their feet?
Well, when someone comes into shelter, like a place like CAS, we provide services and case management. Once they start to get stabilized and off the streets, we help them move back into housing. Every year we serve over 5,700 people, and thousands of them get back into permanent housing. So it's person to person, each individual we serve who comes into shelter.
You know, every year they do the homeless count in Phoenix. Are you guys seeing, I guess, kind of the homeless population spread? Is it shifting in the city of Phoenix?
Oh, most certainly. Homeless numbers risen all throughout Maricopa County. And as one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing county in the nation, we're going to continue to see a rise. The numbers every year in what's called the unsheltered numbers have gone up steadily for the last 7-8 years. And the reason they keep going up is because there are not enough shelter beds to help them start to end their journey ending homelessness. So there are encampments throughout the region that weren't here a few years ago, and that will continue to grow. The pandemic is exacerbating this in a major way.
You guys had a telethon, is that right? Tell us about that.
Sure. With the pandemic, the eviction moratorium has been helpful, but we've still seen people become evicted. In fact, Maricopa County during the pandemic had the highest rates of eviction in the nation. Now, a lot is being done to address that, but more people will be evicted. And as people lose their jobs, they come into homelessness. The concern we are really focused on is people losing their jobs, but also senior citizens on fixed incomes who are getting evicted. And the University of Arizona projects up to a 35-40% rise in Arizona in homelessness because of the pandemic.
Wow. That's a startling number.
It is. And it's also on the national level, they're predicting a similar rise. And it's all in the unemployment and housing numbers. We don't have enough housing for people. We don't have enough shelter for people. The good news is all of us are in action, and the city of Phoenix's support last night was a great step. We need more cities. We need the state. We need the county and the private sector to step up with us. We can tackle this and not become the next LA or a city that is just overrun, but we have to be in action, and this is the year to start taking that action.
All right. Lisa Glow, she is the CEO of the Central Arizona Shelter Service. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us. Great perspective this morning. We'll be right back.